What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we are counting down the top 3 most used typography and text animations that define the style of Lovable. And if you don't know what Lovable is, basically Lovable is an AI powered platform that enables users to create web applications and websites by typing descriptions in plain English, often described as vibe coding. And I'm going to show you exactly how to recreate each one of them inside After Effects step by step. But stick around to the very end because I have a special bonus text animation breakdown. So make sure you watch till the last second. Let's jump into After Effects and get started. So yeah, we are back in After Effects and I have made this text animations into different 3 compositions. So let's break down each composition step by step. Let's start with the first composition as AI generation blur fade, and let's see the preview of the text animation first. Yeah, now let's start with the background first. So I have made the exactly background like Lovable. You are free to choose any background you like, any gradient shape or gradient background, anything you like. So let's start with the background. So you will know how to make the heart shape like background like Lovable also. So let's quickly double click to open this first precomp, and you are seeing this heart shape. You can also add the PNG of a heart icon to the composition and just get that look in After Effects. But I have made a different heart shape composition for that. And for the composition size, let's hit Ctrl K to open the composition settings for the heart shape composition, and you can see the settings are 1500 by 1500 pixels, and the frame rate is 60 frames per second, and the resolution is full, and the duration is set to 5 seconds, and the background color set to black. Okay, and I have named it as heart shape. Hit OK. And now for the first shape, let's quickly turn off all the layers first. Let's start with the first layer. So the first layer is basically a square shape. So just go to tool section and grab the rectangle tool over here and just make sure the fill is set to any color you like. I have chosen as orange color, and make sure the stroke is turned off. Holding shift, make a perfect square in the center of the composition and make sure you align it in the center. And after that, let's open this second layer and you can see ellipse layer. So for the second layer in the tool section, just grab the ellipse tool and make sure the fill is set to the same as like square color, the orange color. Holding shift, make a perfect ellipse which intersects with this square shape like this. It doesn't show any corners. You can see it's like a door shaped, something like this. And after that, just make a duplicate of that ellipse layer and let's turn on this and make sure use holding control, so you will get that perfect alignment, something like this. Holding control, you can align it accordingly and you will get that perfect heart shape, something like this. And you are free to choose any color you like, but I have chosen as orange color, and you will get that heart shape, something like this. And after that, let's go to our main precomp and let's see our main comp settings. Before we proceed further, let's hit Ctrl K to open the settings for this compositions. So for the composition name is AI generation blur fade, and for the preset I have used as 4K. You can go with the full HD 1920 by 1080 pixels, and the frame rate is the most important thing you have to know about text animation, especially for the SaaS like animations or like high-tech animation like tech end UI animations. So always use frame rate of 60 frames per second for the most smoothest text animations. Okay, and for the resolution we have full resolution. You can set it to quarter or anything you like, and for the duration we have 5 seconds approximately, and for the background color we have set it as default like black. And yeah, we have this. Hit OK, and yeah, just drag, go to project panel and just drag and drop this heart shape precomp and just hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of that shape. I have made a duplicate of approximately 5, 1 2 3 4 5. And after that, what you have to do is just go to inside each comp, or alternatively what you can do is just select the second comp and apply the tint effect and just choose both the colors, map black to map white to. So the first, let's quickly turn off all the layers first. So the first precomp will be this background like bluish tone, and after that just hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of that heart shape layer and you will get that look. So hit S to open the scale properties and just I have scaled it a little bit. And after that, what you have to do is just change the color to a little bit darker bluish, not too much dark. You can copy the exact hex code like mine. And after that, let's turn on our third layer, which is again the shape layer. And again on the tint, just change the color to a purple shade for both the colors and just scale down a little bit like previous shape. And let's again turn on our next layer, which is a heart shape layer, and again change the color to a different like pink color for both the colors and just scale down a little bit like purple. and just decrease the scale value. And at the last, let's turn on our last heart shape layer, change the color to orange color and just scale down a little bit, and it will look like this. And after that, what you have to do is the cherry on top to make it look more natural, just add an adjustment layer. So let's quickly turn on our adjustment layer. So what you have to do is just go to layer, go to new, and just add an adjustment layer. And on this adjustment layer, apply the two effects. The first effect is the fast box blur effect. The blur radius will be 130 pixels or 130, and the rotation is set to as default like 3, and make sure the repeat edge pixels is checked. And after that, just apply the second effect as noise effect. The amount of noise is set to 8%, and make sure the noise type is unchecked. Okay, use color noise is unchecked, and you will get that effect exactly like Lovable. Okay, and yeah, now it comes our text animation. So let's select the text layer and expand the text layer properties. Again, expand the text drop down, and you can see two animators over here. The first, I have named it as intro animation. So basically, when you add the animation or animator in the text animation, you can rename it by right click, and just you can rename that in animation or animator, so you can easily understand what this animation is about. Okay, so let's quickly break down both the animation first. So expand the intro animation drop down, expand the range selector, and expand the advanced properties. Okay, so for the first intro animation, I have added some properties like opacity and blur property. You can see, just go to animate and choose the opacity, and again go to add and just choose the blur property. And after that, just decrease the opacity to 0% and set the blur value to 50. Okay, and after that, in the range selector, just animate the offset value from -100 at the beginning and add 1 second and 15 frame, just change the offset value to 100%. Okay, and after that, in the advanced tab, make sure the based on is set to characters and change the shape to ramp up. And just you can play with the settings of the ease high and ease low. I have set it the ease high value at 100% and the ease low is set to default as 0%. Okay, and you will get that intro animation something like this. Okay, you will get that fading effect like Lovable. Yeah, now let's break the outro animation. So expand the outro animation tab, expand the range selector, and expand the advanced properties. And after that, add 1 second 15th frame. Just you can make duplicate of that intro animation. Just select your intro animation, hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of it. Okay, and now all the settings and parameters are same, like opacity and blur 0 and the blur property is 15. And what you have to do is everything is almost same like intro animation. Now the thing is that you can see the based on is set to characters and the mode is set to subtract. Just change the mode, which is default as add in the previous animation like intro animation, just change it to subtract, so it will get back to the outro animation something like this. Okay, yeah, so that's how we get that AI generation blur fade animation. Let's quickly close everything, and after that hit U to see the keyframes. So just select all the keyframes, hit F9 to apply easy ease, and after that what you have to do is just select the first two keyframes of the intro animation, go to speed graph editor, or you can select keyframes and right click, go to keyframe velocity and just change the influence of the incoming to 95% and set the outgoing velocity to 3%. Okay, and just select the last two keyframes and right click, go to keyframe velocity and change the influence of the incoming velocity to 3 and the influence of the outgoing to like default 0.01. Okay, you can tweak the settings of the speed graph editor and the go to speed graph editor, and you can tweak the keyframe settings for the perfect results you like. Okay, and that's how we get that perfect smooth animation. Hit U to hide everything, and lastly make sure to turn on the motion blur for the smoothest feel, and we have this animation. Let's see the preview. Yeah, we got this animation. It looks super cool and premium. Let's hit to our next animation. On this text, I have just simply applied an effect to make it more subtle and dramatic. So I have applied a gradient ramp effect. So just select your text layer and apply a gradient ramp effect on it. And after that, just choose any color you like. I have set the start of ramp color to a white color and the second color as black color, and just drag these points, one at the top and drag the second point at below the text. You can see the points over here and you will get that dramatic results for the text. Okay, yeah, and one thing I forgot, that select your text layer and just go to properties section, and for the font I have used as Inter which is so amazing font. You can download it from Google for the UI animations. It is amazing font, and for the style it is used as bold style with the pixels of 200 pixels. And yeah, for the tracking, let's set to -35, so you can get the effect something like this. Okay, yeah, now let's move further to our next animation, which is basically named as SaaS hero slide. So this is also the text animation used in the SaaS videos, the different SaaS animations websites. Same animation which is used in Lovable. Let's break it down. We have break down our background, so it doesn't matter to repeat it again and again. Let's select our text layer, expand the text layer properties, expand the text, and we have again the intro and outro animations. So just I have renamed it as intro animation and outro animation. So let's expand the intro animation first, expand the range selector, and you can see the two parameters are applied over here. The first is the position and second is the opacity. So just go to animate, select the position parameter, again go to add and just choose the opacity parameter. And for the position, set the Y position to 80 and set the opacity to 0% and expand the advanced properties. And here what you have to do is just change the based on to words and make sure the mode is set to add, and just change the shape to ramp up and just apply easy ease. And in the range selector, in the beginning of the timeline, just make a keyframe on offset and make sure the value is set to -100, and at 1 second 15th frame forward change the value to 100. Okay, and just in the ease high value set it to 80% and set the ease low value to 20%. And yeah, we got this animation. So let's close this and let's see the intro animation first. Yeah, you can tweak the settings for the perfect and smoothest results you like. And after, for the outro animation, let's quickly expand the outro animator, expand the range selector, expand the advanced, and again I have duplicated this intro animator, so just hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of it and rename it as outro animation. And after that, all the settings are same like mine. At 1 second 15th frame forward, your keyframes will be around from beginning to 1 second 15th frame forward. Just select your keyframes and move further from 1 second 15 frame to at 30th frame. Okay, and yeah, now what you have to do is again you have to change one settings. Just in the mode, just change the default from add to subtract, and your outro animation will be something look like this. Yeah, okay, and yeah, let's quickly close this. And after that, what you have to do is just grab the rectangle tool and make a perfect mask shape on the top of the text, something like this. And after that, what you have to do is you can see the mask over here, expand the mask properties, expand the mask, and what you have to do is just increase the mask feather to 100% and make sure the mask is set to add. So when your text animation will move from down to up, it will fade from below and it will come out of the mask in the center, and after that it will fade into the mask, something like this. Yeah, it looks super cool and premium. Yeah, we got this. Hit U to hide everything, and again hit U to see the keyframes. So just select your keyframes, apply easy ease to your keyframes, and again select your first two keyframes, right click, go to keyframe velocity, and you can see incoming velocity is set to 95 and the outgoing velocity is set to 3%. And at last, select the two keyframes, right click, keyframe velocity, and just tweak the settings opposite, change the incoming velocity to 3% so it will move slowly, and for the outgoing velocity set to 95, it will move faster at the end. Okay, yeah, we got this animation. Hit U to hide everything, and lastly turn on the motion blur for the realistic feel, and let's see our final preview for the text animation. Yeah, we got this. And lastly, the same effect, gradient ramp effect, just go to effect controls, and we got this same. Just hit Ctrl C to copy it from the first precomp and just Ctrl V to paste it, and you will got this dramatic effect on our text. Okay, yeah, now let's move further to our next third precomp, which is known as Kinetic snap animation. So let's quickly see our preview first. Yeah, you can see the tracking animation. So let's quickly break down, expand the text layer properties, expand the text. Again, you can see the two animators over here. The first intro animation, The second, the outro animation. Let's expand the intro animation first and expand the range selector and expand the advanced properties. And the first, we have added two properties over here, or two parameters. The first is opacity and the second is tracking. So just go to animate and choose the opacity parameter, and again go to add and choose the tracking parameter. And after that, in the settings, just change the based on to characters and change the shape to ramp down, not ramp up. Just change to ramp down and make sure the ease high is set to 70% and set the value of ease low to 30%. And for the tracking amount, let's set it to 35 and opacity to 0 at first. And for the animation at the beginning, just change the offset value to 100 at the beginning, and 1 second 15 frame forward, just change the offset value to -100. Yeah, and we got this animation for the intro and something like this. Yeah, we got this. Let's quickly close everything. Let's expand the outro animation, expand the range selector, expand the advanced. So yeah, again we have duplicated that first intro animator and renamed it as outro animation. And for the properties, we have same tracking and opacity, like 35 for the tracking and the opacity set to 0. And what you have to do is just change one setting in the mode section, just change it to subtract, not add. Previously it was set to add because it was the intro animation, and at 1 second 15 frame forward, just move your 2 keyframe from the first to the last, so the outro animation will start from 1 second 15 frame to the 30th frame. Okay, so just change the mode on to subtract. Okay, the rest everything will be same like intro animation. Okay, just close everything and yeah, select your text layer, hit U to see the keyframes. Again, select your keyframes, hit apply ease, select all your keyframes, apply easy ease by clicking on F9, or you can go to right click, go to keyframe assistant and just click on easy ease. And after that, just select your first 2 keyframes, right click, select your 2 keyframes, right click, go to keyframe velocity. The incoming velocity is set to 95 and the outgoing velocity is set to 3%. Okay, and for the last 2 keyframes, we have set the incoming as 3 and the outgoing as 95. So it will move slowly and fades faster at the end. Okay, so yeah, we got this animation something like this. And after that, the gradient wrap effect again we have applied to the previous animators. And yeah, lastly turn on the motion blur for the smoothest feel, and we got this animation. Let's see the final preview for the text animation. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so that's how we animated these 3 text animations, exactly like lovables, or you can use in the SaaS videos, so you can use it in your projects. And lastly, the bonus text is our next precomp. So before moving further, if you didn't like this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe the channel for the most amazing videos in the future. And yeah, let's get back to our precomp. So now, before moving further, the first thing you have to know is this text animation is for only those After Effects users which are using 2026 version of the After Effects, because the effects which are applied to this text animation is only available in the 2026 After Effects version. So if you are using the 2026 version of After Effects, you need to watch this. Okay, let's quickly break down this. So the first line you can see, let's quickly see the preview of our text animation. Yeah, you can see the snapping over here, the transition between 2 animations or 2 different sentences. So how we got this, let's quickly see our first line. So for the first layer is our background layer, just the gradient ramp effect applied to it, radial ramp effect. And let's select the text layer, expand the text layer properties, expand the text. And here I have used 2 properties. So first I have used 2 animators over here. So first animator I have renamed it as tracking opacity, and the second animator I have renamed it as weight property. So first expand the tracking opacity animator and expand the range selector and expand the advanced property. So for the intro of this text, make sure let's go to properties first of the text, go to properties section, and this particular text animation, make sure you are using the variable font, because every other font is not compatible to this version or this animation. So make sure using variable fonts, just like I'm using the Sego UI variable font, semi-bold text. You can use different variable fonts, you can search on Google, and only those variable fonts are compatible to this animation. Okay, because the trick we are applying here, it basically upon weight. Okay, so yeah, get back to our range selector option. So in the range selector, in the advanced tab, we have different opacity added. The first parameter is set to opacity, so just go to animate and click the opacity parameter and add it. The second animator is our tracking, just go to animate and add the tracking parameter. And lastly, we have the blur. So for the opacity, let's set it to 0% and set the tracking amount to something around 15, or you can set it to 20 according to your text size, and set the blur value to 15. Okay, and in the advanced, you can change them based on to characters, and just change the mode on to add before, and just change the shape to ramp up, and change the ease high to 0 or ease low to 0. Okay, which is as default. And after that, in the offset value, just keyframe it at the beginning, just change the offset value to -100, and at 1 second 15 frame forward, just change the offset value to 100%. And after that, just apply easy ease to your keyframes. Right click, go to keyframe velocity, and just change the influence according to like, or you can go to speed graph editor and apply easy ease, and we'll got this text animation something like this. Yeah. So at the beginning, just make sure you are using the variable font, and the second thing, you are using the lighter version like semi bold or regular, not the bold version. Okay, and because you have to snap the transition between two text or two lines from lighter version to a bolder version. Okay, so that we have used like thin version, regular, semi-bold. And after that, let's quickly close this and expand our next. So just hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of this tracking opacity and rename it as tracking opacity. So what you have to do is just go to animate, go to variable font. You will get that effect when you are using the variable font, and otherwise it will be faded. So make sure you are using variable font. So just go to animate, go to variable font axis, and just choose the weight option. Okay, and after that, set the font axis weight to as much as low possible according to your font. Okay, I have set it to 300 because it is the last value I can set. Okay, yeah, that's how we got this version. When we increase, you can see it will be bolder, and when I decrease this value, it will be lighter. Okay, yeah, we got this animation for the intro. And after that, at 1 second 15 frame, just hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of it, of your text layer, and hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate, and it will be split from this frame. And just change your line. I have renamed it as shift animations faster. And after that, just let's quickly hit U to hide everything, and let's select this second text layer, expand the properties, expand the text, and again you can see only one property is added. Just delete the tracking opacity property because we don't need that for now, and just expand the weight property. And again, you can see the font axis is 300 like default, and just expand the range selector, and the magic is here. Expand the advanced properties, and just you can change the ease high to 0 and ease low to 0. Make sure the smoothness is set to 100%, and make sure the shape is set to square. And after that, change the based on to characters, and just you can have to animate the start property, not the offset. So at 1 second 15 frame forward, just make a keyframe on start and set the value to 0, and at 30th frame forward, just change the start value to 100%. Select your keyframe, apply easy ease, just go to keyframe velocity. You can tweak this setting according to your like, and you will get that snapping effect transition between two lines. You can use this amazing trick to switch between two lines, and yeah, that's how we got this animation. Lastly, just turn on the motion blur for all the text layers, and we got this. Let's see the final preview of our text animation. Yeah, you are free to choose any color you like, anything you like. You have all the options open. Just try it out and enjoy. Okay. Alright, that wraps up the top 3 and the bonus animation. I hope this breakdown helps you level up your motion design game. The link for the free project file is attached down in the description below. You can download it from there, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to follow me on Instagram @editing.snap for daily tips and behind the scenes content. And if you want to save hours of work, check out my premium assets. You get access to text presets and different projects, all for just $5 a month. That's literally less than the price of a coffee. Subscribe now to get instant access. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.